best memory would be at Wembley for the playoff final when we won 4-2 against Reading. That was the best game I've ever seen as a Swans supporter.
Why?
Because it changed the whole club in the space of 90 minutes, from being a little club that I'd always hoped would do well to now suddenly we were one of the big clubs, and I'd never been more proud to be a Swans fan.
In this book there are 68 poems. The first one is exactly 100 verses long, and that's my history of the club. There's also a song which I've written, Swansea City with Swansea Jack, and it's sung by the nieces, who are 4 of my nieces, who sing beautifully. And there's a link to that on YouTube. And there are also quite a few pages in here that have photographs, mostly of nieces and other relatives coming to visit, but all with people who are associated with Swansea football.
One of our players, Mel Charles, a very famous Welsh international, who went on to play for Arsenal. He lived around the corner from me and went to the local school. He was a few years older than me. He had a brother, John Charles, who was world famous, one of the best footballers ever in the world. But Mel lived around the corner, and they didn't have transport. They didn't have the Maseratis like the players have got now, BMWs, etc. So what he used to do, as other players would do, was to get on the local bus. But this was a popular game, and when he went to get on the local bus as they were coming through, the buses were full with fans. Other players were on the bus to go to the match, but poor old Mel Charles couldn't get on the bus, and there was a queue in front of him, although we let him go to the front of the queue. So he had a problem. And it was ironic that one of the chaps who lived around the corner had a horse and cart, and he used to collect scrap metal and do various jobs with his horse and cart. We didn't have any cars. So Mel hitched a lift with a chap called Jackie Corey, who lived in Fern Street in Cumberland, and he had hitched a ride to Glamorgan Street, which is just outside the Vetchfield, and the reception he had from the supporters outside when Mel Charles was riding his kit bag over his shoulder and arrived at the Vetchfield on a horse and cart. And that was an amazing incident.
I don't know how many years ago it was, I would say about 15 to 20 years, where a policeman got stabbed in the head with a dart, no playing dart that you use in a pub, you know. And unbeknown to me, what happened was that night that the game was going on, and a chap scudded along the floor on all fours over my feet, and that I thought was strange, but I didn't know that he had stabbed the policeman and he was getting away. But we didn't know, you see, because the policeman was stabbed like there, about 15 metres away, and we didn't connect it then with this. But the policeman had the whole of the dart was embedded in his head except for the feathers. And I think it turned out to be a Cardiff supporter. That's why we don't like him.
I started watching the Swans from about 1941 perhaps. I started playing myself and with the local teams. We used to play in the Swansea League. And very often, if we had an early kick-off, we used to put our clothes all over our football jerseys and shorts and go as we were and have a bath and went over. And as I said, we played the Italian prisoners of war between Pontedellas and Commanding, I forget the name of the place. But they had a prisoner of war there, and as we were playing, they used to spit on us. some of them are pretty good actually, quite friendly, but others, I suppose, didn't like the idea of being there as well.
Well, the Supporters Trust was formed about 10 years ago. The Swans were pretty well, nearly went out of the league. And also financially we were bankrupt, and we had a new owner came in who bought the club for a relative figure like £1 or £10, and he as soon as he was appointed as chairman of the club, he sacked 8 players. So we didn't really have a football team to play on a Saturday. Luckily, the players, although they didn't get paid and they weren't insured, turned up in Southend United in an away game, and they played for nothing. And we decided after only a week we can't go on with this situation. So we started marching through Swansea, getting supporters together, gathering money, and we formed a supporters trust. And with other local businessmen, we bought out the chairman. He decided to clear off to Australia, and we took over the club. We had a chairman in place, which is Hugh Jenkins, which is the current chairman, with the supporters trust and all the local businessmen, which formed the new board of Swansea City. And from that day, the new stadium was built with the aid of Swansea City Council. And in the last 10 years, we've seen a major transformation on the playing structure and on the financial side as well.